Good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in with us. I'm Joe Duncan.
And I'm Kiata Holmes, and welcome to Ram News.
In Salisbury, Livingstone College is preparing for the school's homecoming celebrations, but after a string of disturbing attacks on and off campus, victimizing Livingstone students, concerns about student safety is increasing.
They don't have enough security. They don't have like two or three people working throughout the day with this whole campus. It's like more people than security, so if something break out, what they're supposed to do.
Earlier this week, a student suffered injuries from a pellet gun when several unknown suspects walked on campus and attacked students during a meeting held by one of the school's student organizations. An afternoon shooting in Greensboro leaves one person dead and another person injured. The shooting happened Monday afternoon in the 800 block of Ross Avenue, close to Bennett Street. Nathan O'Hara Ford is recovering in the hospital from his injuries. He lives at the home where the incident happened. The identity of the person killed has not been released as police are trying to notify next of kin. President Obama prepares to leave Russia today after convening the G20 summit meeting. The president attempted to rally support from other UN nations for a possible U.S. military strike in response to Syria's chemical weapons attack.
It was unanimous that chemical weapons were used, a unanimous conclusion that chemical weapons were used in Syria. There was a unanimous view that the norm against using chemical weapons has to be maintained.
The United States estimates that the August 21st chemical attack killed about 1,400 people. Now, just as the president is finding it difficult to find other nations willing to join the U.S. response, back home there isn't much support for a military strike either. While about 60% of Americans do not support military action against Syria, a report out today says that if Congress were to vote on congressional approval for military action right now, it would have no chance of passing. Still, the White House plans to address Congress to persuade them and the American people to back the president's position. And a Statesville man has been charged with multiple counts of rape, incest, crimes against nature, and taking indecent liberties with a minor. Statesville police arrested John Henry Strickland after responding to a call that a woman was having suicidal thoughts. The woman revealed to officers that she had been molested by a family member over a period of time as a child. According to the Statesville Record and Landmark, the alleged sex crimes date back to the 1970s and 80s. Now, after conducting an investigation, detectives had cause to arrest the 64-year-old man. His bond was set at $50,000. And people in Rowan County are trying to make sense of a case involving a missing girl. Erica Parsons was reported missing about 2 months ago, but the young girl has been missing for nearly 2 years. Now, folks in Rowan County are trying to make sense of this strange case while holding on to the hope that she'll be found. Here's that report. And over in the Philippines, 4 days after one of the deadliest storms on Earth, survivors aren't asking for pity, but they are asking for help. But relief aid workers are having a difficult time getting help to the victims because of all of the devastation. Army officers and police are tangled up in the storm's mess, and that is hampering relief coordination. Right now, the death toll stands at 1,700 people, but that number is expected to rise significantly. And well, we all know the saying, better safe than sorry. Well, Winston-Salem State University recently hosted Safety Day, and Ram News, of course, was there. And thousands celebrated the 50th anniversary of the historic March on Washington last week, in the exact spot where Dr. Martin Luther King delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech. President Obama called on the nation to work even harder towards greater racial equality and economic opportunity. Dignitaries, civil rights leaders, and celebrities spoke during the festivities. The historic 1963 March on Washington paved the way for civil rights legislation. And shock rock performer Lady Gaga shocks the world yet again with her recent admission. The over-the-top singer admitted to battling an addiction to marijuana. Gaga says that after suffering a hip injury, she became dependent on pain pills and marijuana.
I did a lot of drugs and took a lot of pills, and I let it all kind of go because, you know, I didn't know if I was going to live for the next year or two.
She says she smoked close to 15 marijuana cigarettes a day. Now, while she says she believes the drug is far safer than other drugs, she wants people to understand that you can become addicted to it. Now, you may have heard that Gaga confirmed that she is indeed planning to perform in outer space in 2015. And that has some people asking, what is she smoking? And that does it for this edition of Ram News. On behalf of everyone here at Ram News TV 21, we thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Joe Duncan.
And I'm Kiara Holmes. Good night and God bless.